This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Wednesday, February 23rd. We have got a lot to cover today, and I hope deep in my heart that it is of a strong quality because it's our 100th podcast. Something worthy of the distinction.
Woohoo! That's pretty impressive.
They said it wouldn't last.
I think we said it wouldn't last.
I'm pretty sure I was the first one to say, we're not going to get through 25 of these.
We'll see how it goes. Within a week, we'll be done. We'll be bored. But yeah, back in September, the last week of August even, I believe, is when we first started.
Thinking about it.
You're thinking about it?
Yeah, I'm not sure we started recording until
Was
September,
that when we were
October?
practicing maybe? Is that what I'm thinking?
Yeah, some of
Just
that.
having some fun and working out the kinks?
And I'm not sure we're done working out the kinks. Everything's an evolution, right?
3 years on air, I'd say we're not done working out the kinks.
True that, right? True that. After 1,000 shows.
Okay, yes. But
What's-
that's pretty, I'm
what's
sorry,
100
I'm impressed by
podcasts?
that. I think that's pretty impressive that we have 100 now under our belt after today.
And what we
I'm
do
happy
is
with that.
we spend a little bit more time on the things we talked about in the morning show. So coming up later on in the podcast, why the age of 25 is so important. Two different stories came out this morning, of which the answer was 25 years of age. We'll touch on those two and why Charity vehemently agrees with both of them, and why I understand
It's a
they
good
say
thing there's
what they're
glass
saying.
between us.
Why I agree with what they're saying. I don't know if their findings are correct, but I get what it is that they're saying. We're going to talk about that.
hooey.
Kick off, though, we had Hayden on the show and on this podcast about a month ago from Harmony Public School with a real pick-me-up kind of inspirational story that he wrote, a speech. And gosh darn it, if he didn't get to drop the puck last night at the Belleville Senators game.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. What a very insightful young man for a kid that's, well, I say kid, for a little guy. What was he, grade 6?
Grade 6.
Grade 6 for a little boy of his age to have the insight and not the know-how, but the
Well, to
ability to express
Yeah.
what we're all feeling and how we can come out of it. It's pretty impressive. And to his teacher and his fellow students, kudos to you guys
And to
for
the-
trying to find the positive side of what we've been going through the last couple of years.
And the courage to say it
Yeah.
and to stand up and say, this is what I believe.
Yep.
Which is not always welcome in this day and age. But when it's a grade 6 speaking the truth, boy, you sit up and listen a little
Well,
bit more. So
you
good for
always
him.
say, you know what, speak from the heart.
Yep.
And clearly he did. And you can't go wrong when you do that. And others sit up and will listen and take note. And everybody did. And it was quite an impressive speech he gave. And rightly so to see him at the Sens game last night. And
That's right.
a little way to say thank you and to acknowledge what he did. So good for him.
There
And very
will-
exciting night for him.
There will be no hockey game until Hayden drops a puck. And I wonder if he went into the locker room and gave him a little pep
Oh,
talk.
I imagine he got some,
I hope so.
Some behind the scenes treatment. And yes, I'm sure he got to talk to the guys last night and share.
Could be a little reason why they came off the loss to Syracuse, turned around and beat
Maybe.
him last night.
Maybe
Turns
it was
out-
Hayden. Yeah.
Hayden's a lucky charm.
Yeah.
Maybe we got to get him on staff.
They are doing. I will, and not to veer off here, but for a moment, the Sens are doing really good.
Oh no, I know.
I
You know
am-
why? Because it's February, March. They do this every year. Not that they're not, but it's like some teams gel,
Yes,
and in the AHL it's harder because they're constantly
They're
bringing
moving.
people up
Yep,
and down.
they're
So it's
moving
tough to
everywhere.
get that chemistry that you need late in the year.
we were at the game Friday, and
Right.
a player left from the Marlies was taken off
Like
after
in
the
the
second
middle of the
period.
game?
After the second period,
Oh.
left. He was traded,
Oh,
so off he went.
you're done. Had he scored in the game and they take it off?
No,
That'd be great.
yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, that
Yeah,
goal no
you're-
longer
Yeah,
counts.
you're done. But sorry, to your point,
Yeah.
it can happen.
It happens.
Mm-hmm.
Coolest thing I ever heard is it happened years ago. I don't know when the player, I should look it up. However, a player in Major League Baseball got traded in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of a doubleheader to the other team. So played game one,
And just switch jerseys.
went over, hey guys, swapped out, put on the jersey, played against his other team.
Wow.
It happens. That's sport. Happens. And speaking of great students, there is Ella up at Sacred Heart School in Marmora. She's a finalist for the S.C. Johnson Happy Hands Contest. So I clicked on this. What S.C. Johnson's put together is they're going to be decorating manual soap dispensers with artwork made by children. And so Sacred Heart School of Marmora sent some in, and she is one of the 5 finalists for grade 5-6. So you would go on the S.C. Johnson Happy Hands website, choose a design, of which I believe there are 5 in each category. So you go down, you find Ella's in the grade 5, click on hers, don't click on anybody else's, regardless of what you think, because Sacred Heart would win $1,000 plus a number of manual soap dispensers, and Ella would get a $300 gift card.
That's amazing. I hope the
great.
plan is to use all of these. But yes, by voting on them, that particular school, because they're beautiful.
Yeah.
They've done such a nice job. And Ella's too. Like, it's
That's so smart,
pretty.
though. If you want to use, if you're encouraging kids to use them, then make them fun for them so that when they see them.
Not just kids. I would use them.
No, I know.
But yes, I know what you're saying.
I don't know if we're going to see that.
It entices them to want to use them, encourage them.
I don't know if I'm going to see that soap dispenser at the CAA arena, but it would be in schools. So,
that would be cool if it was at the CAA arena with her being from the area. But you have the next.
The Quinny Mall.
Exactly.
There. Oh.
The next 5 days. Voting will end in 5 days, 14 hours, 16 minutes, 25 seconds. So you can get your votes in at happyhands.scjp.com.
What else going on this morning? We handed out a pair of tickets to see Train. I am a huge fan. You can beat the box office all this week.
You are a huge fan of Train.
To see Train opened up with Jewel and Blues Traveler, so it's an enormous tour. And we all want to get back out and enjoy some music, and so we handed out a pair of tickets to Allison McGill this morning, and listen up, she was busy.
Time for another winner.
Woohoo! Thank you.
95.5 Hits FM.
Hello.
Hi, is this Allison?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Allison. It's Mark and Charity calling from 95.5 Hits FM. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Super.
Very good.
Thanks so much for getting your entry in on our Beat the Box Office with Train and Live Nation, because we've got a pair of tickets for you.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh, my God.
Train's going to be
the other day.
I know. Well, Train's going to be at the Budweiser stage on July the 10th with Jewel and Blues Traveler. And if you can correctly answer our 2 skill testing questions, you can have the tickets.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Ready?
Okay.
Number 1, what do you call the long veil and gown portion of a wedding dress that a bride drags up the aisle?
What do you what?
What do you call the long veil and gown portion of a wedding dress that a bride drags up the aisle?
Who are you going to see, Allison?
Oh,
It's called a train. It's called
There.
a train.
Okay,
It
good,
is.
good.
I'm in the middle of work here. I'm not thinking.
We
Sorry.
don't care. The second question, this is radio. We don't. This process is the best way to teach a pet how to behave. What do you call that?
Train.
There you go.
Yay!
Phew.
We almost had to give the tickets to somebody else, and that would have been tragic.
I know.
Congratulations, Allison, and thanks so much for entering. You beat the box office before anyone else. You now have a pair of tickets to check Train, Jewel, and Blues Traveler out this summer, July 10th in Toronto.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
Tell me you're not doing like minor surgery or something. We interrupted.
We didn't interrupt that,
No,
did we?
but close to it.
Oh.
I am doing home care, PSW.
Oh, a
chicken.
frontline worker. Well, thank
Oh.
you. Oh, wow.
Can we give her 3 tickets? No, we can't give her 3 tickets.
How about
Hey,
4?
how about a great time for you and a guest? And thanks so much for entering, and have a great day, Allison, all right?
Thank you so much.
Boy, I can call it, eh? Like, I'm just such a jerk. I really am.
We were actually teasing her about calling her away from work, and
Yeah.
turns out that
She saves lives. She's a frontline worker.
frontline worker, she's got important stuff to do. So thanks to her client as well for being so patient with her answering the phone and playing along with us this morning.
And prior to knowing that, Mark, what did you say? I don't care. I don't care. You're
We
at
were
work.
both a little punchy this morning. I think maybe just being back in the studio together because we had a few days apart. I was supposed to come in Friday. You were supposed to be off Friday.
Maybe that's it.
And then yesterday. And so it was an interesting morning. And I say punchy because you were telling listeners to go away and that you didn't care. I was getting fired up because the study that our greatest memories happen prior to this age or by the time we're this age really hit a nerve with me. And I sound like a grumpy old woman. But 25
25
is the age where they say kind of all your great moments or your greatest memories happen by that age. And at least that's how I took it. I read that and I thought, no, there's so much. You're so young at 25. There's so many other things to come after 25 that I do vehemently disagree with that.
And the thing is, I think I know what the problem here is.
Why?
Is that you said great moments. Great moments, great memories,
Great memories.
are not
Sorry,
the same thing.
I did say great moments, but great memories.
I've had
'cause I
so
have great
many,
memories after 25.
I have great moments after 25, but my best memories are before 25.
No, I still argue
That's
that.
the way I
And I get what you're
feel it.
saying because
Yeah.
you made the point that
So much determines who
so
I am.
much happens, yes, prior to 25, leading up to 25. You grow, and there's so many and as listeners pointed out too, so many monumental things happen
Yeah.
within those first 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you do really learn about yourself and you grow and all these milestones. But I think that just continues, and you can have great memories after 25. To say that 25 is the cutoff, because that's how I took that article, that it's kind of like by 25, no. Like, yeah, you'll have stuff happen, but all the great ones happen before 25.
I think you put too much emphasis on that.
Well, that's how it hit me this morning.
Yeah.
That's how I took
No,
it.
and I understand.
And that's what it did. It
whenever
hit a nerve. It
whenever
really bothered me.
When my grandchildren are born, that's going to be an enormous memory for me.
A moment. It's going to be a moment. And I think that's the
And
difference
a great
again.
memory.
But the birth of your children, is that not a great memory for you?
Yes.
See?
Yeah.
And
but that's two.
you
That's
and
two
Kath got-
memories. No, hang on. That's two memories. Right?
But there haven't been memories
But
since
I have
then?
100 memories before I was 25 of meeting Kath, college, high school, first time I got a driver's license.
And maybe it's a generational thing because some of those things happened for me after 25.
Yeah, so much of that to me happened before
25,
So, and
yes.
that might be this might have been written by a baby boomer in their 70s, for
And
which they got married at 19.
Well, exactly. And that's the other side of it. Generationally, if you go by those moments, it does happen later, or I keep saying moments. If you go by those memories,
Yeah.
they happen later now for,
People.
I think,
Yep.
a lot of people. Because my children, I didn't meet my children, which to me, that memory of having my kids, and it is a memory, not just a moment, but the memory of that
Right.
was in my 30s. It wasn't 25. It was in my 30s. And even professionally, there have been memories I've had that have happened after 25 that have really stuck out and I go back to. So, yeah, I just think there's so many things to come after 25.
is way too young for you.
It is.
What would you
You're
say
still
the cutoff
growing.
is
There's
then?
still those.
What would you say is a cutoff if you couldn't say 25?
I don't know that there is a cutoff because
Then you just don't like
create.
the survey.
I don't, because you're constantly creating memories.
Yeah.
Even into your old age, and hopefully into your old age you have these memories. You still have these memories. So
With any luck.
with any luck,
With any
I know.
luck, I'll
It
hang
just-
on to them.
I don't know what it was again. Maybe it's just being back here with you. It hit me, and it's like, no.
We opened the show with I had one day off and who'd Russia invade today? Yeah. Oh.
See, yeah.
It's like I can't take a
you're
day
talking,
off.
You're talking about that. I'm talking about, no, 25 is not the cutoff.
The other story, which was really interesting, was that a study survey, whatever, came out of South Korea that said the best age for women to give birth is 25.
And again, kind of.
And it had more to do with not just how they feel at 25, but what happens to them later. They said that if you give birth, before that, there is the possibility that you're probably from a lower income family or situation.
Yes, there were
where
other-
you may not
other
have the
things to it.
best
Yes.
of health care,
Yeah.
or and then as you age, it not go well, and that women who give birth later in life, it affects them, and so
There's
they don't
more
live
chance
longer.
of so
So
complications.
they just said that to give birth around 25 will be in your prime and will do nothing to diminish the length that you will live.
Mm-hmm.
Any other age may do that, and you teed off on those South Koreans. this morning.
I think maybe it's the 25. I think it's just 25. And I can't say 25 was bad. It was a good year. I'm not going to say there's some residual things attached to it. But yeah, why 25?
Why 25?
And I get the U, because they say it's like a U, right?
Right.
Like it kind of 25 is just the average, 24, 25.
Well, the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get physically perhaps, but I look back at 25 and there was no way.
Yeah,
I think
pushing a
now
baby out.
I'm glad that it wasn't.
Right,
Because
yeah,
I was
for
not
sure.
I would be a very different parent at 25 than I would be in my 30s. And I am grateful for that because I think I'm a better parent because I didn't have my babies at 25. That's not to say someone at 25 who has a kid isn't going to be a great parent, but for me personally, I'm a better parent because I wasn't one at 25.
Two thoughts. Number one is we are living longer. And I think part of the concern was if when women lived to be 60, I don't know, like 100 years ago, if you weren't having babies at 16, you weren't having them.
Exactly.
So that's part
Again,
of it. So-
generational,
Right.
through the
Yeah.
years, things change.
But then number two, because I'm the youngest of a baby boomer family of 7, born in 1963, both of
family's
my
large.
sisters were married by 21 and having 2 kids by 25, 26. So when I got married at 24, I thought I was old, over the hill.
You're late to the party, Mark. Come on, get going.
One of God's great unclaimed beauties. That's who I am. I am
They didn't think you were ever going to get married.
destined to live a miserable life. 24, a bachelor. Can you imagine?
Oh my goodness.
24.
Well-
So, but as you say that now, my children, not giving me grandchildren to this point, 31 and almost 29. But that's not unusual today.
When I was in high school, home ec was still a course, a class, and we were sitting in class of maybe 20 students, and they asked the question, how many of you believe that you will be married and starting a family by the age of 23? 2 people put up their hands, myself and a girlfriend of mine.
Really?
We were the only 2 in the class. So I thought, I really wanted, I felt
How old were you?
at that time
15, 16? 16?
Yeah, I felt that. I wanted that. I wanted to be married and starting a family in my early 20s, and it didn't happen, and thankfully it didn't, because I look back now and there was no way I was ready to do that at 23. But the thought was there, and I wanted to. But to say that 25 is the ideal, and I get this quote unquote science and everything going into
physical
it.
for a woman.
Physical, possibly.
Right.
But I don't know that it's correct in saying that should be when.
Well, you shaved years off your life. Hope you're happy.
Apparently.
I wish you a long, with many memories.
Thanks, Mark.
Charity,
Yes,
many,
I will have many great memories.
many great
And many
memories.
great memories are still to come. I know that. It doesn't stop at 25.
I don't know about you, but I am frightened to see what tomorrow brings on the show. For a Throwback Thursday for Burger Revolution, because we're handing out tickets to Train. As you heard, Allison was our winner. We've got Train in the spotlight. So Drops of Jupiter for Team Mark. Meet Virginia with Team Charity.
And you were currently in the lead.
Okay.
Drops of Jupiter.
Long day.
Well, you know what? I think you also it's a great song, but I don't think people are aware of the backstory to that song
Well,
either.
he
And you
was,
shared that, and
yeah.
I think that really.
Pat
Makes a
Monahan
difference.
left home in Erie, Pennsylvania. Pat, if you're listening, if I'm embellishing, too bad, because I don't want to let truth get in the way of a good story. Went out to San Francisco. I think he drove. That's why a lot of times you see that old car in videos. I think that's the car he drove from Erie, Pennsylvania out to San Francisco.
Okay.
Because he knew that if he wanted to make it big in music, he was never going to do it from Erie, Pennsylvania. So he drove out to California, founded Train, but I'm sure it wasn't the first day because they all got to bounce around, 5 guys, whatever. But he stayed in touch and was very close to his mother, who passed away at about the beginning of their fame, because Drops of Jupiter was the song he wrote after she passed away. Like, what happens the second you die? And now you're flying through the atmosphere and you're with drops of Jupiter in your hair, and is heaven overrated and all of this stuff. Like, he's thinking, like, what are you experiencing right now that I'm not? So that was one of the songs. Follow up, Calling All Angels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the song You Can Finally Meet My Mom, off of, not off, I think it was off of Save Me San Francisco. But it was just like, he was very influenced by his mom and her passing. And then a few other songs of which you can hear it. It's like, okay, I know what you're talking about there. So, but great band. I think Scott Underwood as a drummer was great. Meet Virginia, that's so good, the drumming on that.
And that, of course,
He
the
since
first
left,
big
but-
one from
Yeah.
them. That's the song that really introduced
Yeah.
the World 2 train. And hard to believe, thank you for the math help, 23 years old.
Yeah, Meet Virginia came out in 99. So
it was released.
it qualifies for a Throwback Thursday.
Yes.
That's what we're happy
Yes.
about. So get your votes in. Winning songs coming up after the 8 o'clock news tomorrow. And everybody, thank you for 100 podcasts for listening.
Yay, thank you.
Because if it wasn't for you, this would just be an echo chamber of this morning's show, and we don't want that. Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast, available by 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time out of Belleville, Ontario, Canada, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Throwback Thursday tomorrow. We'll talk to you then.